Hello and welcome to a Three's Company video on Lord of the Rings the card game. I'm Joseph and today I'm starting a bit of a series going through the Voice of Isengard and Ringmaker cycle quests. I'll see if I can get through all 9 of these in the next about 3 weeks or so. On the podcast we're planning to review this cycle as a whole with the quests and player cards as a retrospective, and thought it'd be fun to play them all again. This cycle is probably one of my lesser played cycles. I don't go back to it very often just because I think the biggest thing is that card drop punishment. It prevents me from going back here. A lot of decks, it's hard to just throw them up against some of these without getting punished pretty hard. But as I've been playing it this week, I've been having a good time. Fun quests. So we're going to start with the first one, Fords of Isen, and I'm going to use a Rohan deck, a Three Hunters Rohan deck. I published this about a year ago. Elf Helm, so you have the bonuses of the mounts on your heroes, plus the bonuses of all your attachments. Pretty fun. It works pretty well as long as you can get set up in the first 3 turns or so. That can be a little mathy because you have to check all your stats all the time, but I'll try to drop markers on them, so it's pretty easy. I modified it a little bit from my published version to take out some of the card draw, because the done landings don't like you to have cards in your hand, and the quest itself gives you some free card draw, so taking out some standards like Foe Hammer, etc., put some more attachments in. So this is my deck here, and we're going to play Fords of Isen, which I like pretty well. So this cycle, all about done landings mostly. A good amount of orcs too, finding orcs for Saruman to experiment on. This one's all done landings though. Like I said, punishes you for having cards in your hand. There's 6 different enemies, which seems pretty high for a quest actually. They all trigger, something triggers off having cards in your hand. So I'm going to try to be emptying my hand here. Let's get my deck set up and then we'll set up the quest. Shuffle the deck and draw 6, looking for at least 4 restricted attachments. Well, there's 4 restricted attachments. Only 1 mount and 2 swords. Nothing for Elf Helm. That's a little bit scary. Let's see here. I'm gonna look on that. It's tempting to keep, but okay. Armored Destroyer makes a big difference. Snowman. Ooh. Wow. We have 3 mounts. Okay, this is a great hand. These are there's 5 restricteds here. Okay, we'll stick with that. And now we're going to look at the quest. Fight at the ford. This is a 3-stage quest. First stage, we have to rescue Grima. Unfortunately, we have 5 turns basically to rescue him. Time 5. At the end of the 5th time, he just dies. You lose the game. So you got to rescue him by then. Stage 2, you reveal another enemy, and then at the end of every time segment, you take direct damage. Then stage 3, you reveal another enemy, and at the end of each time segment, you discard cards, and you would probably flood yourself with enemies if you had cards in your hand. So it's a escalating battle, really. Add the islet to the staging area and attach Grima to the location. Each player searches the encounter deck for a different Dunland enemy and adds it to the staging area. Shuffle the encounter deck. We got 6 different ones here. I like to choose the Dunland Tribesman because he's 37 threat, so you don't have to engage him just in case you draw another on turn 1. But every time you draw a card, he raises his threat. This guy, if you have 3 or more cards in your hand, he surges. This guy attacks you every time you draw a card. This guy gets +1 for every card you have in hand. This guy does direct damage according to the number of cards in your hand as he engages you. And this guy usually fetches a buddy when he engages you. More likely the more cards you have in your hand. It's a very focused mechanic here. That's not revealed, so we don't draw the card from his when revealed effect. Alright, we're going to try to load up on restricted detachments quickly. Alright, a lot of interesting options here. So I'd like to get the Destrier on Elfhelm, but Snowmane is actually really good on Elfhelm as well, because it's restricted. If I put it on Theoden, it doesn't count as restricted, which is ironic that it hurts in this case. Let's see. I know I want to do this, so that's first choice. I think I want to do this. That way I can quest and defend with him. I can put this on him next turn. And I could give Theoden the raiment, or I could give Elfhelm the raiment next turn. I think I'll give him Goothwine for now. Everybody gets a solid attachment right away. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, we have 1, 2 in the staging area. He got 1 threat from me drawing a resource phase. And we're just going to quest for 6. Oh boy. Surging Treachery attached to the current quest. After a player draws any number of cards, deal 1 damage to a character he controls. Need to get through this quest pretty fast, stage, or flip my contract pretty quickly. That surges into another one. It surges into an enemy. Okay then. 1, 2, 3, 4 to 6. That's 2 progress. Well, this is active. Each enemy gets +1, so I'm not going to travel there yet. And we're going to take... Oh, I forgot again. Sending him 2, because he readies. So that's another 2 progress. Going to defend him. 3 defense because of his buff from the mount. Nothing. And then 5 attack will kill him. Goothwine obviously never is going to trigger its effect in this deck. Alright, that's the end of the round. We're going to take 1 time off. We're going to have to put 2 damage out. We draw a card, which is annoying. And he's back to 1 threat. Alright, we're going to put this out for 1 leader tactics. So now... Oh, come on. Elfhelm is 3 attack, 4 defense with 6 hit points. That's much more comfortable. And he has 3 restricteds already. That might have been a mistake because now I can't put ancestral armor on him. But that's okay. I'm going to spend a resource to put this on him. This isn't restricted, but it is a steed, a mount. And I don't really need many tactics resources, so I found it's been effective. But I'll put this on too. Now, Theoden can do everything. Alright, let's dump out some progress. 1, 2, 8. That's probably enough, isn't it? I won't spend the resource for Theoden. 8 versus 1, or 2, now 8 versus 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, this is in the staging area, done the enemy gets +1. Yeah. Alright, I'll stay there for 1 more turn, so we can travel there, engage this guy, defend for 4. Oh, good, got rid of a Dunland Chieftain. And then I am now 6 attack because he gets +1 for having a mount. And I can kill that guy. Time goes off. I take 2 damage, which is for drawing this card. Alright, this is another restricted I can put on Aowen. That's good news. I'll just do that for free. And then I can start discarding cards to accelerate clearing these locations. I'll take damage again, aren't I? Ugh. We're going to go for 9. And I'm going to discard it. Actually, I will discard it. No, I won't. 9 to 1. Ah. First player draws this card into his hand. Ill Tidings cannot leave that player's hand. Then if the first player has 5 or more cards in his hand, it gains Surge. It does not. Okay. That clears this, and I already have 8 here, but I do have to do 2 damage. Because I drew a card. Travel here. Refresh phase. I'm going to flip my contract. Then I'm going to exhaust it to heal 1 off of each hero. Now my restricteds aren't discounted, but I get a bunch of willpower boosts. 1 willpower for every restricted. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and 1, 2. Take off time and give myself 2 damage again. Alright, got 4 attachments here. I need to get cards. I need to get some of these out of my hand. Let's put. Oh, that's not what I thought it was. Let's put this out. Now, Theoden is 1, 2, 3 base, and then +1 for having him out, so that's 4, and then 5, 6, and then 7, 8, 9 attack. Alright, let's just throw in Eowyn by herself. 9. Player must choose. Remove a time counter from the current quest, or search the encounter deck and discard a pile for a Dunland enemy, reveal it, and add it to the staging area. Shuffle the encounter deck. If any player has 5 or more cards in hand, this effect cannot be cancelled down from the hills. I'll take the time counter off because it doesn't matter. That's bad on 4-player. It can just take off so many time counters. Alright, that's 9 to nothing. So we're going to take control of Grima. Put the eyelet in the victor display. Discard these, thank goodness. Go to the next stage, Dunlanding attack. Nothing on A. When revealed, each player searches the encounter deck and discard pile for a different Dunland enemy and adds it to the staging area. In time 2, after the last time counter is removed from this stage, each player assigns X damage among the characters he controls, or X the number of cards in his hand. Place 2 here. So we want to keep our card count low. Alright, let's pull back this guy, because he's easy. We'll engage him. We'll defend him. Defending for 4. +1. 3 attack. And Theoden can absolutely maul him. Alright. Time counter goes off. New turn. I'm going to heal. I don't know if I healed last turn. I don't think I did. That's a good card to have. I want all these cards. Alright, I'm going to crest heavily. Let's see if I can go all the way through. So Theoden has 6 willpower right now, because he starts at 3 with his boost. And then he has 3 restricted, so that's 6. Eowyn has 9. We're going to make that 10 by discarding this. 16, and he has 5. 21 plus Grima. 23, and we're going to spend a resource. I haven't seen anybody do this for a long time, but let's do the mark. After attached hero commits to the quest, spend a resource from the attached hero's resource pool to already attached hero. 23 to 0. Okay, here's the other condition attachment. Attached to the current quest, after a player draws any number of cards, raises threat by 1. Ill Tidings again. I draw a card and raise my threat by 1. That does not surge because there's not a 5. So 23, I quest successfully, ready him. I put 23 progress on here. In multiplayer, this can snowball on you, but in solo, if you have the willpower, you can go places fast. Alright, that gets discarded. We go to the next stage. Hold the Fords. Each player searches in counter deck and discard pile for a different than enemy and adds it to the staging area. Shuffle the counter deck. We're just going to keep pulling that little 2-attack chump. And then side B, 16 time 3. After the last time counter is removed from the stage, discard the top X cards, then counter deck. X the number of cards in the first player's hand. Add each enemy discarded this way to the staging area. Put 3 time counters in this stage. Each enemy. That could be nasty. If there's at least one enemy in play, we cannot defeat the stage. If we defeat the stage, we win. So let's just engage him. Defend for 5. He gets +1, +2 if there's at least 3 cards in his hand. There is. So he's going to be 4 attack. No problem. And 9 will kill him. Time down to 2. New turn. Alright. Firefoot. Can't play any of these cards, really. So I'll discard Firefoot to make her quest. I'm going to heal first. I think I can quest for the exact same amount as last time. 5, 15, 21, 23. And I'll ready Theoden. And I get the King's Road. Will any player has 3 or more cards in hand, it gets +3 quest points. Will any player has 5 or more, you have to travel here. Alright, 23 to 2 is 21 progress, and we have 1. That was a rather non-eventful game. Got a lot of those conditions early. The damage was a little scary. But once it got the contract flip, it became a non-issue. There's a lot of ways this deck has set up these attachments. This is not a bad way. Got a lot of attack over here. It's nice to have the Steed of the Mark out. This isn't the best defensive setup, but having the extra hit points is worth something. And 4 defense isn't bad. Also didn't see either of the 2 big enemies, so that was honestly a pretty weak showing by the counter deck. That was we were into turn 6, and we spent only 1 turn each at the last 2 stages. So solo, if you have a deck that can come online pretty fast, you could rush this, and that's probably the best way so you don't linger, get your hands full of cards, and have enemies swarm you. Anyway, that's the quest. That's one of my fun decks right now that I enjoy playing. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you saw any mistakes. This is actually the 3rd time I've recorded this because my first 2 attempts had technical difficulties. My sound didn't record, and then it stopped recording 4 minutes in. So hopefully this one worked. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back to catch an orc soon.